Hey guys, I'm going to cut a statue today and hopefully it will help you learn how to cut a statue. So I'm going to pull up the program and I've already picked out a statue to cut, so I'm just going to cut most of the background off so I don't have to erase all of that. So you cut or trace around the statue as close as you can without actually hitting it, so you don't have to erase a bunch of background later, because that takes up a whole bunch of time and it's a pain in the butt. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to be super careful here. You can be all squiggly, it doesn't matter. Just get as close as you want to get here. And like that. And so you see most of the background is gone. And then you just blow it up like so. And you start erasing, and you see there's still a lot of background even though you cut most of it off. So normally what I do is I just go in and erase a lot of the background like so, and then I start doing this. And one good thing to do is you want to do long, or you kind of want to do long strokes, but at the same time you want to pick up your instrument and put it back down a lot, because if you do like super long strokes, then if you make a mistake and you have to erase and start over, you're going to have to redo a lot. So you don't want to do too long of a stroke, just long enough to I don't know if that makes sense, but you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And this statue, or bust rather, isn't the greatest for cutting. The background is not very dark, and it's not a very good picture. It's kind of fuzzy, so I don't know how well it's going to turn out. The best ones are the ones that are like the really bright white statues or busts with the really dark backgrounds, and those are the best for cutting, but you can't always find those, and sometimes you just want to do one that looks like this, so you do the best you can with what you got. And normally whenever you blow it up to use it, unless somebody blows up your artwork like really big, I mean, they're not going to really be able to tell anyway. But still, I mean, you want to get it as clean as you can. So like right here, what I'm doing in this corner is I'm just getting like this little dot of background. I'm kind of like brushing into the corner with little quick strokes instead of just like going in there with a long hard stroke, because that would erase part of the bust. So that's the best way to do that. And so then we've got all that finished already. So then you just move up. And here's more background to erase. Yeah, I definitely could have picked a better statue. This one is going to have some gray area around it, like a gray outline kind of, but that's alright. Sometimes if you want to use a particular bust or statue and it does have a bad background and you have trouble cutting it and it ends up not being that great, you can use a filter that will kind of disguise that. Like if it has a red background and like after you cut it, it has kind of a red tint to it, you can use a filter that has kind of a red tint and it disguises that. That's a pro tip. So this is kind of a tricky area. Not too tricky really, but you can see there's like black lines here for some reason in some parts, and there's not in other parts. So kind of just want to, like this, get as close as you can without ruining the shape. When you're done, you can always go back and clean it up a little bit too. It doesn't have to be perfect on the first pass, of course. So this part's going to be harder because of the lips and the eyelid. So I'm going to blow it up more. About like that, I guess, and see if that's enough. I might need to blow it up more than that, I'm not sure. And more background to erase. See if this is doable here. It's gonna take a minute, but I think it's doable. So you see I'm doing kind of short, quick strokes right now. Come back here and get this gray off of here. I think I might have to blow it up some more, but we'll see. Oh, no, maybe not. I know that most people don't use this program and an Apple Pencil. They use Photoshop and a mouse or GIMP and a mouse, but the process is pretty much the same. Yeah, this eyelid is a little hard. I'm gonna have to blow that up some more, but I'm gonna get this up here done first. Okay, so I'm gonna blow this up some more just to get that eyelid part. And it's like super pixelated here, so you can really get in there and get all that gray out. Usually when it's blown up this big, it looks like you're doing a really bad job. But then when you take it back down to regular size, it looks fine, so. Okay, actually that was actually a pretty bad job. But you can always go back and try again. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, so it looks good. All right. So you see, like when it's blown up, it looks pretty bad, but it looks fine now, so. And I'm gonna leave it pretty blown up because of the curls in the hair. And there's a lot of background up here too, because. So I'm gonna do this. And this actually might be a little faster because the background is darker. And it cuts easier when the background's darker, so. This part is a little tricky because it's hard to tell what's shadow and what's hair. So things like that I usually just try to guess and I do my best on, and then it turns out all right. So you can see that it looks pretty pixelated because of all the shadows and everything, but it'll look fine on its normal size. And the reason I'm moving this statue around so much is because I'm doing this on an iPad. So I would guess on the PC you probably wouldn't have to do that. But I don't know for sure. If you do have an iPad or an iPhone or something, I'm doing this on Bazaart, which is a really, really good program, and I really like it. I do most of my art here. I messed that up a little bit, so I'm just gonna go back. And I'm gonna blow that up some so I can fix that. Okay. All right. Gonna have to blow it up a lot here. That's alright. So this part needs to be blown up. And this is another way you can cut, which for some reason I usually do when I'm on the right side. I don't know why, but you can kind of like bounce off of it like this instead of doing a smooth line. Like that, which also works. You see? For some reason that's easier for me on the right side. I don't know if that would make a difference on a computer. Probably not. Then you gotta go back and smooth it out sometimes anyway. And then we'll have to fix this part up here. Another thing you can do, which sometimes is helpful. I don't have a background on here. I'm just doing it with the transparent background. But you can add a white background before you cut, so you can see a little bit better what your edges look like. And that is helpful, especially if you're working with a statue that's hard to cut like this one. So all of this right in here, all of this gray area would be white. The checkered area would be white, and you'd be able to see like any places that you had messed up. So you can always do that if you would find that helpful. I usually don't. And okay, now that I told you that I usually bounce the pencil on the right side, I'm not doing that. I don't know. This is not a good statue to do that with, actually. you do the bouncing pencil mouse method, you got to get super close and then kind of go back and drag over it, or you're going to have a black line. I'm gonna have to go back and clean this statue up anyway, because this is a particularly hard one to do. So right here, I'm getting in super close to get all of this extra gray off of it. And it's really easy, like parts like this, to just make a mistake and you go, what? And you cut part of the statue off like that. I do that all the time. But mistakes are easy to fix. So yeah, cutting statues is pretty much grudge work. It's gotta be done. A lot of programs have like those magic scissors or whatever, but they don't really work very well. This part right here is particularly bad. I picked this bust because it's more interesting than just like the David or whatever, but it is a rather hard one to do. If you do happen to be using an iPad and an Apple Pencil, set your pencil on smart erase mode. So it makes it a lot easier. Okay, bases of bust is usually where I start messing up for some reason. So, I don't know why, but I will try not to drag this out for too terribly long. Here I'm doing those short strokes again to get this corner. I'm just going to even this out. wow, that looks horrible. Okay, so I'm trying to even it out here, and I'm just kind of bouncing it off and barely touching the bust at all with the edge of the pencil. And here I can barely even see the difference between the base and the background, so I'm just kind of guessing. And I'm gonna just try to even it out. Which is not really going so well, but it's pretty good. Again, I can't really see very well, so still guessing. That looks like the corner to me. So I'm gonna run with it. And there you go. Now on the bottom here where that black line is, I'm just gonna leave that black and just cut the gray off. Because if I tried to cut that black line off, it would be a mess. And it would go all up into the wood, and it would look really bad. So it's hard enough as it is just to do the black line. See there. So the reason I'm not blowing this part up is because it wouldn't really help. Because I don't know how to explain why it wouldn't help. It's just, this part is just really frustrating and hard to do, and really that's about as good as it's gonna get. And really, once you have it in a piece, and you have it filtered, and you have elements around it and stuff like that, it will look okay, it will look fine. I mean, unless it's just really messed up, but... I don't know, maybe I will cut that black part off. That looks pretty bad. Yeah. It's better without it. Okay, well, pay no attention to what I said earlier. Normally, I don't cut the black part off when a statue or bust has that, but this one was particularly just hard to do, so that looks a lot better. And we're almost done. I think that's supposed to be like a tassel or something, so I'm kind of leaving it jagged on purpose right there. Okay, that didn't work out. Let's try that again. See, I keep having to go back and hit the back button a lot here. This part's just flat out hard and annoying. And it's pretty uneven, and I'm gonna have to go back and make it look even. Which is fine. Okay, that's better. And then blow up this part because it's really hard to tell what's what here. I'm going to kind of round this corner off a little bit because I improvised on the rest of it so much that it'll look weird if this corner is like perfectly straight and the rest of it isn't. But I'll do that actually. I'm going to take it back down to do that. So you can see, like right here, it's really hard to tell what's part of the bust and what's the background. So again, I'm just kind of guessing. That seems about right to me. And then I'm going to round off this corner. Just a little. Maybe. It's not going to let me. Okay, forget that. I'm not rounding off the corner. Let's see how it looks. So there you go. You have a cut piece, and you can see that it looks good. Even though when you have it all blown up and it's pixelated, it looks really, really pixelated, I guess. So then you want to save it, of course. And if you are using Bazaart, I would recommend that you check your photos to make sure that it did save. And then go back and delete it from Bazaart, because I made the mistake of saving all my cut statues in the program itself, and then the program crashed and I lost all my whips. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and learned something, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.